Hello, internet. Not such great lighting today. It's like 5:30 and I had 3 classes today, so I'm just now getting around to filming it, and my hip hurts, so I don't want to get up and go get my tripod, so this is just gonna have to do. So our theme this week is Texas versus everywhere else. Now, I wasn't born in Texas. I was actually born in Georgia. I moved to Texas when I was 18 months old, and I've lived here ever since, so I am a Texan. I grew up in a town that is, I think it's actually big enough to be considered a city, but it's a very, very small city. And now I live in a small town where I go to school. I will say Texas hasn't been a bad place to grow up. It's actually been, it's been good. I didn't really mind it that much. Yeah, it wasn't a bad place to grow up and start my life out. Typically when people think of Texans, they get this stereotype in their head of like these really big southern hicks who wear like big belt buckles and a big 10-gallon hat and cowboy boots, and we ride our horses to school and drive our carriages around. Guys, you gotta remember this is the 21st century. We have cars. While for some people some of that is true, for the overall population I'm gonna say most of that is just like most stereotypes. It's just a stereotype. I feel like those of us who don't, fit the typical Texan stereotype or whatever, our culture will play into our personality, because no matter where you're from, everybody's personality is going to be different. You're not going to buy into every culture aspect or stereotype aspect of where you are. Like me, for example, I do have a couple of pairs of boots, but that's really the most Texan thing that I really have. I've never liked horses that much. They're really beautiful animals, but they kind of freak me out a little bit. I don't really like riding them. I will say that there are some people around here that are, a little more country than I am, but overall that's not a picture of what Texas is by any means. The main thing that I cannot stand about Texas, and most people will complain about, and if you know a Texan, you know this, and that is how freaking hot it gets here in the summer. And really just how hot it is around here all year round. Like, basically, this is how Texas weather works. We have 2 seasons instead of 4. We have summer and winter. We get like 2 weeks of spring. We maybe get like a week or 2 weeks of fall, but the rest of the time it's summer and winter. And even when it is winter, it's a warm winter. Like, for example, it is January in Texas, and I'm going to read you the weather forecast for the rest of this week. Tomorrow is a high of 64. Friday is a high of 54. Saturday is a high of 64. Sunday is a high of 66. Monday 68. Tuesday 57. Wednesday 56. Thursday 58. And Friday 57. It's January. I'm not gonna lie, like, my favorite kind of weather is like in the somewhere between like the 50s and the 70s, like in that range, but January. January is supposed to be filled with like cold temperatures and snow and stuff. And then sometimes you'll have the winters where it'll snow like twice, and then it'll snow again in March. When it's spring, the weather here doesn't make sense at all. All of that being said though, Texas isn't too bad. And if you haven't ever been, you might want to pay a visit, because there's a bunch of stuff to do here, especially in the Dallas area and Austin. But after I graduate college, I am definitely planning on leaving. By that time, I will have lived here 21 years, I think. And I think it'll be time to move on. See some more of the world. Live in other places of the world. Get some more experience. So that's my view on Texas. As far as everywhere else, the world is really big, and I haven't been to a lot of it. I've never been out of the country. So I've never traveled overseas or anywhere else. I've always traveled within the United States. Up until the summer, I had only been to like 7 or 8 states. Now I've been to 28 or 29. A lot of America looks the same, like wherever you go. There are also big differences between the different states, if that makes sense. As with most people, one of my bucket list items is to visit all 50 before I die. Probably one of my favorite states that I have visited, I really loved Tennessee. It's a little hilly, but I really loved visiting Nashville. Anytime I go to Florida and go to theme parks, it makes me happy. So I like Florida. I remember when I was little, I went to Oregon once, and I remember it was just absolutely beautiful, and I would love to go back up there again and see some of the other northern states. There's still so many places that I want to see, and thankfully and hopefully I will have plenty of time to get that done. Yay, first week of classes, yay being exhausted and having homework within like the first 2 days, and well. So I'm going to stop recording now because I'm starting to not make any sense. If anyone watching has just started their spring semester back to school, good luck. I hope you have a good rest of the week. Don't cry too much from stress, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.